After doing the American League standings prediction, it is time to do the National League predictions. Yes, I had a couple hotter takes than usual in my American League, but I think my hottest take will come in this video right here. What's going on, guys? It's the King of 161st Street. I'm back with another video, and I'm not doing game predictions. I brought that up in my last video. If you haven't seen that one, check it out. There will be a card here. End of the video, there will be a card again. Go watch that video to see where I put the Yankees, where I have the whole AL East, the crazy AL Central, whatever standings you are in the mood to see, go check that out. But let's get right into the National League East, because although it may not be the most competitive out of the National League, it probably will turn out to be the best. So the National League standings are: winning the National League is the Atlanta Braves. At number 2, we got the Philadelphia Phillies. At number 3, we got the New York Mets. At 4, we got the Washington Nationals. And at 5, we got the Miami Marlins. The Atlanta Braves are the deepest team outside of the Dodgers in Major League Baseball. They are the deepest team that was built internally that I have ever seen. This team won 89 games last year without most of their guys getting over 200 ABs. Ronald Acuna is coming back in May. He was out for the entirety of last season. Austin Riley, riddled with injuries, he's back. You still have a rotation with Chris Sale. Yes, there's still some injuries. Spencer Strider will be coming back. That will be huge. Reynaldo Lopez starts on the injured list. When he comes back, that'll be huge. I just don't see a world where the Atlanta Braves aren't great. Where I do see a world where the other two teams that could win this division are subpar. Atlanta's at number 1. Philly has the highest floor out of this. I mean, obviously the Braves would probably have the highest floor after watching last year. But what I mean by that is you still got Bryce Harper. You still got Zach Wheeler. You still got Christopher Sanchez. That's going to be great. You've got Kyle Schwarber. You know what you're going to get out of him. There's a lot of guys in this lineup that you know what you're going to get. My issue with this team is upper level ability. Where is their ceiling? They're getting older. Does Bryce Harper start to regress a little bit? Does Trey Turner go back to 2023 form, or is he back to 2024? These are all questions that have to be answered. And the Phillies could answer them, and they could win a World Series. That's been the expectation for a while now. Do I think they're better than the Braves? Hell no. But do I think that in the playoffs they have a shot to make it out of their side of the bracket and make it all the way? Hell yeah, I did. And then we got the New York Mets. And now look, because I'm a Yankees fan, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, you're hating. You're hating. It's just because they got Juan Soto. A lot of people are hyping up this rotation like it's about to be above league average. I'd be shocked if this rotation stays league average. You are trusting Clay Holmes to be your 3 at the moment. And yes, spring training looks fantastic. He looks unreal. That kick change looks great. You know, he had some unreal moments here in New York, in the Yankees as well. But when those lights get bright and it comes down to it, Clay Holmes is a player that more times than not folds. And that's the guy you're trusting to replace a Luis Severino from last year. That's the guy you're trusting to keep you afloat for Sean Manaea, to keep you afloat until you get the depth back of Frankie Montas. Even that, Frankie Montas, when has he shown us that he's at the level his talent has shown? He hasn't. Kodai Senga, is he going to pitch enough innings for this to be a successful year for him? He hasn't gone over 120. This is a rotation that scares the hell out of me if I'm a New York Mets fan. And yeah, the bullpen looks nice right now on paper, but a lot of it hinges on Edwin Diaz going back to the old form of him, not last year's inconsistent form. The year before, when he was lights out before getting injured in the WBC. That Edwin Diaz has to come out. And if that Edwin Diaz does not show up, things start to look really bleak. And yes, this offense is going to mash. You have Juan Soto, you have Pete Alonso, you have Francisco Lindor. We also only saw half a season of success from Mark Viento. Can he replicate that? Luis Angel Acuna struggled in AAA. Is he going to come up and be an impact bat along with Brett Beatty taking over? some spots there. We all know the story with Brett Beatty. There's a lot more questions than people want to admit with the New York Mets. Do I think they still have an opportunity to make the postseason? Yes. They may even be the second wild card. I don't know. But I just don't see how, after I told you about the stability you have in Philly and the abundance of talent where the floor is 89 games like last year for Atlanta, how you can have the Mets as number 2 or winning this division. I just don't see it. The Nats are young. They'll be there in a couple years. Not yet. And the Marlins are the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara is probably gone. You get the point. Let's move on, because this is where my real hot take comes in. And it comes in the NL Central. This division looks like, to me, it'll be the most competitive division in the National League. And here's why. In the NL Central, I have the Milwaukee Brewers winning this division again. At number 2, the Cincinnati Reds pull it off. At number 3, the Chicago Cubs. At number 4, the St. Louis Cardinals. And at number 5, the Pirates, not doing anything in this offseason, comes to bite them in the ass again. They will be dead last in this division. Let's just talk about it. Cincinnati, to me, is the biggest sleeper team in the entire league. Having an MVP candidate in Elly De La Cruz, who I believe is going to be an MVP candidate. You're getting Matt McClain back. Yes, you traded Jonathan India, but that trade also netted you another starter. I'm hoping for big things from Diaz in the bullpen. This team is now being coached by Terry Francona, possibly the second best pickup of any sort in this entire offseason. You have a young team that looks like they're ready to break out, and now they're getting coached by one of the best managers that has ever been a part of this sport. I believe this team makes a major jump, and especially because Terry Francona is not Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa was a big name, but he was also from the 70s, not that early. Obviously, it's from more like the 90s. Terry Francona was coaching and managing during the World Series run in 2015. He's been managing in the 2020s. This is a guy that has been around the block in this generation, so he gets it. The Cincinnati Reds are going to shock a lot of people. I think the Brewers being at number 1 is self-explanatory. Even though they lost Devin Williams, even though they lost Willy Adames, that lineup's still gonna mash. Their starting rotation is good. Now adding Nestor Cortez to add more depth. That bullpen is still gonna be nasty. They still win this division. And the odd man out becomes the Chicago Cubs. Kyle Tucker was a huge pickup, but what else did you do? You didn't do anything else. And I don't know, if I asked you on October of 2024, are the Cubs a Kyle Tucker away from winning the World Series? Are the Cubs a Kyle Tucker away from winning this division? I think a lot of people would have said no, they need more. I think even though their rotation looks really solid, the combination of Steele and Shota Imanaga, they're going to shove. But you're also relying on Jameson Taillon to give you an incredible season like he did last season. I'm rooting for it because I liked him in New York. But let's be honest, he wasn't the most consistent. You have to expect there might be some tail off there. You lose out on Isaac Paredes, now you lose some depth in your infield. Yes, there's some intriguing portions of this team. PCA is going to be good, Pete Crow Armstrong. Kyle Tucker is obviously going to be great. You've got some pieces, but it's not enough. And especially when you're looking at a team like Cincinnati that added. They were able to add a starting pitcher. Yes, they traded out Fernando Cruz, but he also wasn't really fitting in well there. And they added in a backup catcher to help with depth. They added. Yes, the Cubs made the big splash and they added Kyle Tucker. Cool. You were not a Kyle Tucker away. So they fall off to number 3. And I think 4 and 5, the two teams in the Central that did 0 in the offseason, it's going to show. Let's move on to the NL West. And the Major League Power Rankings on King of 161st Street. The NL West, sadly, is going to possibly be as expected. At number 1, you got the Los Angeles Dodgers. At number 2, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks. At number 3, you got the San Diego Padres. At 4, you got the San Francisco Giants. And at number 5, you got the Colorado Rockies. I tried my hardest to find an avenue for the Colorado Rockies to win this division. I could not find a way, even though it was this close. But in all seriousness, I truly believe that the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to give the Dodgers a fight from hell. It's just the Dodgers' depth. That's what they invested in this offseason, and that's what's going to carry them into a possible triple-digit win season and another division crown. But I don't think that the Diamondbacks, although they may not get close to 100, for a lot of the season, they're going to give the Dodgers all they can handle. Adding Corbin Burnes to this rotation that's already pretty stacked was an amazing pickup for a team that has financial issues. They're the proof that you guys out there that don't spend money, it's not because of the Major League Baseball structure. If anyone could have cried poor, it was Arizona. They're in the midst of also their own RSN deal being all fucked up. And they went out and they spent $200 million to pick up the best pitcher. So teams like Baltimore, teams like Seattle, even teams in the Midwest that just decided not to spend. The Diamondbacks are proof that you can do it. The game is not stacked against you. You're stacking the deck against you. Sorry, I got a bit off topic, but the Diamondbacks are going to give them a shot. Ketel Marte is going to be a stud. Corbin Carroll is going to be a stud. They just gave Geraldo Perdomo a good deal. Even if he tapers off a little bit, you've got a prospect coming up in Jordan Lawler that's going to be great. You traded for Josh Naylor, that provides a lot of power. They're going to give those Dodgers a run for their money. The Padres have been selling. And this is another team I thought would tail off a bit, maybe fall below the Giants, but if you look at the Giants team, it's not that deep. And they don't got much talent coming up through the minor leagues. Yes, you added Willy Adames, that's a great pickup. In that ballpark in San Francisco, not adding more and more offensively, it's going to hurt. Like I said, just depth is not there. So they may give the Padres a bit of a run for their money, especially if the Padres start selling off guys like Cease or King, trying to get ahead of their free agency year. That ownership situation is pretty sad, so I wouldn't be surprised. But with the talent they have today, the Padres are a better team by far. I'm going to put them ahead, and then the Rockies are the Rockies. Hopefully Jeffrey Yan gets a lot of run because that's the only exciting thing coming out of Colorado nowadays. But anyways, guys, that is it for the MLB Power Rankings. From here on out, it will be all Yankees baseball all week, the rest of the baseball season. Opening day is Thursday. I can't wait. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. Stay tuned. I'm out of here. Take care. MP.